Welcome to our second webinar of the year. My name is Ntako, and I am the Enterprise Development Manager at Rise International. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, Rise is a nonprofit social enterprise that operates in Lesotho, which is a small landlocked country in the Southern African region. We focus on economic development through three aspects: skills development, job creation, and entrepreneurship, specifically in the built environment through a program that we call InLoco. InLoco is a design and build fellowship that focuses on building and entrepreneurship programs for graduates who have studied architecture, construction management, civil and electrical engineering, plumbing and carpentry, among other disciplines. The fellows get a hands-on learning experience while at the same time solving problems in infrastructure. Ultimately, we turn job seekers into job creators by helping them start their own businesses and taking them through a 3-year incubation program where we connect the fellows with mentors, co-working space, tools, clients, and among other things. And today we are here to talk about a very interesting topic. And we have got two beautiful ladies. One will join us later. We have got Miss Asma Diallo from Guinea. We also have the beautiful Mujabel Senegal Ndebele, born and bred in Lesotho, currently residing in South Africa. These two are reigning beauty queens, and today we're going to discuss the stigmas in pageantry and how we are changing that dynamic. Good afternoon, ladies.
Hi, how are you, Ree?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you, MJ?
Great, thank you. Hi, Asma.
Hi, MJ. How are you?
Great. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we would just like for you to give our viewers and whoever's listening in just a brief introduction about who you are and what your intention for today's conversation is.
Okay, let me go first.
Yes.
Like Ree's already said, my name is Mujabeng Senegal Ndebele. I am a former face of Lesotho, a former Miss National University of Lesotho, Miss Africa Lesotho, face of Beauty International Lesotho, the list goes on.
Yes.
But currently I'm a commercial model. I am the face of Africa's largest shopping network. I'm just trying to show you a catalog here. And the face of a sanitary pads brand called Eternity. Yeah. And I'm an entrepreneur. I design and make leather handbags for women. Also have a sample here. Otherwise, in the educational space, I hold a master's in public health and a Bachelor of Sciences in environmental health. I'm very, very passionate about women empowerment. I am an advocate against violence against women in South Africa and the whole of Africa.
All right, thank you so much, MJ, for that very, very detailed background. And we are very privileged to have you here today. Now over to the beautiful Asma, over to you. Can you just give us a brief background and what your intent for today's discussion is?
Hello, everyone. My name is Asma. I just want to mention that my English is not like very professionally, but I'm trying. I'm still improving. In my country, we speak French. So I'm former Miss Guinea 2017, also Miss World Guinea, Miss Africa Continent, Miss Pan-African Queen also. I'm working currently as a chief accountant in mining company in my country here. I'm a president of NGO who named Miss Asma or Assistance Vulnerability to help child, woman, and every woman and child who is in a really vulnerability site. So I'm really passionate about discovering, about learning, about a lot of things who really concern women and kids around the world. Yeah. So I'm also an entrepreneur in agriculture in my country here, especially in pineapple, because our country and especially this region known about this type of agriculture. Yeah, I'm also fighting against how we call it against yeah. It's okay. I think people don't want to come. Yeah, that's perfect.
All right. Thank you so much, Asma, for that very detailed background about who you are and what you do. You are beautiful inside out, clearly, after hearing that. So let's just talk really. And as women, what do you feel pageantry is to you? What does it mean to you? What does it symbolize?
As a woman, it really means a lot of things for me. It's like giving me a chance to convey a message directly to women around the world, because being a Miss Guinea is very important, not only for my country, but when you speak, when you convey a message, it's like conveying a message around the world, like to help women, to listening to them, to know somewhere in this world you have sharing some experience or some stories, even though you are not in the same country, and helping other people who need it. I mean, for me, it's something like that.
Okay, thank you. MJ, over to you.
I'm struggling to hear Asma clearly. So if I repeat anything that she said, please just let me know. Asma, please come closer to your mic. I'm not hearing you properly. Okay, so for me, pageantry was and is a saving grace, because it saved my life more than once, more than twice. And everything that I am now, I believe, is because I one day decided to enter a beauty pageant. Actually, I was forced to enter one, and I loved it. And I loved it. I placed first runner-up, and then the rest is history. I'll just talk about the as today's topic is about the stigma surrounding the industry. I'll keep tying that in. What one would usually think is, how does a space where you are supposed to compete to be called beautiful or to be deemed a queen, how does a space like that facilitate what you're talking about, saving grace, or a space that gave you confidence? Like I always say that I'm the confident woman that I am because I entered a pageant. Well, this space is, yes, it's a competition, but it's also a test, an internal test to you on how confident you really are. And it sort of builds resilience against a lot of things. If you're able to stand on a stage wearing literally close to nothing, wearing a bikini, and you are watched by people you do not know, people with different intentions, with their phones, their cameras, and their videotapes out, filming you for different reasons. Could be serial killers, really. Could be people who are learning from you, could be people who really just love you, could be people who love pageantry. But for you to be able to stand in front of all of that and still smile, I'm telling you, you become so confident that nothing can shake you. Well, that's what pageantry did for me, and that's what pageantry means to me. It's a space where women learn that they are beautiful. I only felt that I was beautiful because I entered a pageant, not because I won, because I lost quite a lot actually. And even then, I still knew that I was beautiful. It was just a matter of, if you want to be better, then you have to do better. If you want to be the best, you have to do better. I just had to learn a few things. I went to modeling school, took classes, and worked on this and that, on how I walk, how I carry myself. And the reason why I say that I'm the woman that I am because of pageantry is even my manners, even how I treat people, even how I carry myself, how I tell my story, how I say who I am. I choose how I portray myself because of pageantry. You see me as the person that I am today because of pageantry. I sit the way I sit because of pageantry.
Wow, so profound.
Yeah.
Like really profound. I feel I haven't been in pageantry, but hearing your perspective of it, as well as Asma's, it's like, let's just get every woman through a phase of their lives at some point to pageantry. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us, Mudu. For our viewers who just joined in, welcome. This is our second webinar of the year, and we're joined by three beautiful women who the first two have already introduced themselves. At this point, we'll let Miss Mudela Munyake just introduce herself and her background in pageantry. You're on mute, Mudu.
Sorry. Also, thanks for waiting. I did mention that I'll be like a few minutes late. I'm actually, basically, what's the word? My hands have been busy. Like I've been massaging pretty much most of the day. So I'll start with that in terms of introducing myself. I'm an exercise specialist and sports conditioning coach by profession. I'm also a sports massage therapist. So I keep my hands busy quite a lot. And that's probably why I forgot to unmute, because my fingers have just been busy. All that aside, I am so many things. I'm here as the National Director of Miss Lesotho, but I'm also former First Princess of Miss Lesotho, Miss Tourism Lesotho, Miss Africa Second Princess, Miss Africa Crown International Second Princess. I've done Miss Tourism World, and that's pretty much me in a very brief period of time, because I know we're working for time, but that's who I am.
Great, thanks for joining us. So what I'd asked Mojabeng and Asma earlier is what it is pageantry means to them as a woman. Like, what would you say it did for you as a person and as a young woman in the industry?
So it's actually quite interesting with me, because when I started, I didn't start because it's something I'd always wanted to do, or I'd looked up to certain women in the industry and I thought, oh my gosh, this is my shot, this is my chance. When I first started, I mean, I grew up a tomboy for the greater part of my life. And when I first started, I'd actually gotten bored. I just got back home, I just finished high school. I had nothing to do. So I said to a friend, I'm like, I'm bored. I want a new challenge. I want to do something I've never done before, something that's actually going to put me out of my comfort zone. So let me try modeling. Let me try entering pageants. I mean, at first I thought I can't model. Like I set myself boundaries. I said, I can't do it because I'm too short. So maybe entering a pageant might help. And I started doing research and I realized, oh, there are some pageants that are open to my kind of person being body stereotypes. Like at the time I was like, well, I still am. I haven't grown any taller, 157. And like a size 32 at the time. So I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be accepted in modeling in terms of ramp and photo shoots and all of that. So I said, okay, let me try a pageant. And then that's when I went into that. And then I realized that there's so much more to it than what we see on TV and on stages. So it helped grow my confidence. It helped give me a platform to not necessarily be someone I'm not, but unleash an inner me. You know, something that I probably wouldn't have ever been able to do. I was able to get more in touch with my feminine side and realize how much more beautiful and how much more of a stronger woman I could be from having done all of that. Because I remember when my mom said, oh, why not? It's a good idea. I said, but I don't know how to walk like a girl, because that's literally how I saw it. You know, I thought it's me now having to become someone else. I grew up wearing sneakers. I grew up playing with the boys, kicking soccer balls, you know, playing with marbles. But now it literally had to force me to become a lot more of who I really am as a woman, because when you are on that stage, as much as there's lights, there's makeup, there's different things that come together on the day, you're not going to place or rank or become someone else, or get a crown or anything if they don't see you, because the judges can literally see through you. So I think for the greater part, it really helped me become more in touch with my feminine side, become a greater version of me, because you know, every other day I challenge myself, because I know what I'm capable of on stage. I just remind myself, imagine that the world is your stage. Every day you walk onto the street, that is your stage, and you have to, you know, walk it, stand up, stand tall, and be the queen. You know, you are destined to be every other day.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's really profound and sort of in alignment with what MJ said earlier. She said, and I quote, pageantry was my saving grace. So that was very strong. And I'm sure not only myself, but people also listening in would never have seen it that way, if not hearing from you guys firsthand. On that note, having been title holders, this is to all of you. Having been title holders, how do you feel that has impacted your livelihood and whatever opportunities you feel you had provided to you having joined pageantry? Mudu, I guess, because you're already on the stand, you can go first.
Okay, I'm gonna start by saying, before I answer the question, I came in a little rushed and, just my hair all over the place. Good afternoon, ladies. I'm really glad to be on this panel with you two lovely ladies. And thank you to Rise for having us here. Okay, now I believe I'm officially here and I'm settled. So, Tumi, may you please repeat the question?
Wow. Yes, we'll let you have that moment. So saying, having been title holders, all three of you, how do you feel like having been a title holder at some point has impacted your livelihood, and what opportunities can you say, yes, I got this opportunity because I was in pageantry?
Okay, for me, right, I think it's done both good and bad, right? Starting out, I came into the industry in Lesotho at a time where people were starting to change their mindset. I came in as a thicker person compared to a lot of other girls. This is before they started opening up to the plus size model and everything. But when I came in short. I was one of the shortest people. And for me, it changed dynamics, not just for me, but for the people around me, such.
Mudu, you're on mute.
Right. And in noticing me, it was one of those where you're starting to get more people around you for good and bad reasons. That's why I'm saying it came both in a good and bad way. So you had more people wanting to collaborate, more people wanting you on their stages, more people wanting you to talk, to encourage people like you, to encourage people who want to be like you, to encourage people who are still in their shell. So as much as many people don't believe this, I'm a very shy person, but being on that stage allows me to unleash something else. It allows me to become comfortable. I'm not very comfortable and open in a crowded space, but I think that's actually what makes me talk so much sometimes, because I don't want to give people the opportunity to come at me in any way that's going to make me feel vulnerable. So through all of that, it brought different people into my space, such that some was good financially, some was good emotionally, physically. There was a lot of growth that came with it. So much so that when I went out and I said I wanted more MC gigs, it was like, I'm not just Mudulela Monyake, I am Mudulela Monyake title holder X, Mudulela Monyake candidate X for pageant so-and-so overseas.
Yes,
so
that's
so like I'm saying, it came in both a good and negative light, because in some cases now, when I wanted to push other things, people will say, but you're also this. We don't want to associate with that, because now it seems like we're leaning towards a pageant type of thing. So even you as an individual, I'm going to go on the extreme. This is not something I wanted to do, but say, for example, I wanted to venture into pornography, right? Those are things that go completely against what I may have been as a title holder, because there's this reputation you have to maintain. There's this image you have to give off all the time. So I know when I'd go to parties, at that time, I was trying to get sponsors to help me travel to do my international pageants. Now, when I go to parties, I had to be very aware of myself and my brand, so much so that if I was drinking an alcoholic drink, this is cold water with ice. But I promise you, when I went out, I'd literally drink something like vodka and Sprite, just because I needed it to be a clear drink. I'd make sure there are no labels, no brands close to me. So because now you don't know who might want to work with you, but now they see you with someone else's brand. So it was conflicting in that sense, that sometimes it was very hard to separate me, my personal life, to this title holder who has so much to uphold. You have to post on social media because that's what sponsors want to see. They want to see you active, so that when they align their brand with you, they see that you're actually interacting. But at the same time, sometimes as me, I feel down. I'm not in the mood to wear makeup. I'm not in the mood to dress up. I'm not in the mood to wear heels or anything, but that's why I'm saying it's impacted my livelihood both negatively and positively. But at the end of the day, it's things you look back on, and they've made me who I am, and they've helped me grow so much so that I'm like, you know what, I want to be a part of this industry even further.
Wow, quite a mouthful, and we've learned a lot. So Asma, how's about you give us your Guinea experience? Because like I said, Mujabin is also born and bred from Lesotho. Let's get your different experience before we get to her. How do you feel having gone through pageantry, having been a title holder has impacted your livelihood? And you feel like certain opportunities you got because you went through pageantry?
Thank you for the question.
Can you move closer to the mic again?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, but it's a bit distant.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Thank you so much. I was saying that personally at the beginning, that impacted me like negatively because of in my country, I don't know if my country is a little bit different from another country, but here being a lady, a woman, and having this chance to be Miss Guinea is a lot of responsibility because people think that when you are Miss Guinea, you have to be perfect. You have to be like perfect in all the ways, like the way you smile, the way you talk, the way you walk, the way you dress, everything I'm talking about. And people forget that about being a queen is not like changing your own life. No, you are a public personality. But in the other side, you have your personality, your own personality that you have to fight to not lose it because you have every time to be you. This is the most important things you have to fight for, to not to compare yourself or to be other people or to let people judge you like, I don't want to see you like that because you're face of all national, something like this. Yes, that's impacted in like a very negativity because people started to say, oh, she's ugly, she don't dress well, she's something like that, something like this. I just like was fighting for holding my title and being myself and any moment and everywhere. Like I used to say to young people, you cannot convey a message, you cannot be an example, and you cannot really convince people being another person. You have to be you because God created all of us with gifted us, all of us, with something important you have to work on. You have to really work on Jesus so you can really convey a good message. A good message, I mean. So at the end of this journey, I just realized that I am Asma. So I have to give what I have inside me, not what people can really say like physically and something like this. So that really helped me to have confidence and to talk more about me, to talk about my journey, and to talk about young people. Every time they have really they have to be themselves in any moment and everywhere. It's not like being a queen, you have to change all your life. No, this is like just title for me. I know it is a lot of responsibility, but don't allow this responsibility to lead you to be other people you are not. So for me, I think when you are talking about impacting, being a Miss Queen just helped me to be confident and to fight to be every time myself. About the opportunity being a Miss Guinea gave it to me, I think they gave it to me a lot of opportunity, but I'm going to just talk about one of these opportunity I think is most important. It's like giving me this important to be the face, to be the mouth, to be the hands, to be the legs of people who cannot talk for themselves, for people who cannot touch for themselves, for people who cannot show their face for themselves, like to talk about their stories, to talk about their miserable, their stories they're fighting for every day, each day, and yeah, I can say that in generally, this give me this lot of opportunity to be in front of people, to talk for people who has not this chance to talk for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
This is the much
Okay.
opportunity I think being Miss Guinea territory. Yeah.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. MJ, you're going to close this question off for us. What do you feel? Of course, you've already told us that pageantry was your saving grace, but what do you feel are some of the opportunities and advantages for your livelihood that pageantry and the title holdings that you have brought for you being in the industry?
At the moment, being a beauty queen always sort of smoothens things for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just make an example. When I was in discussion about being the face of this Table Charm,
mm-hmm.
One of the things that came up was, oh, she's a beauty queen. And immediately after the words, she's a beauty queen, came up, the subject was closed. Like, she's a beauty queen. Oh, then she'll have it. Then she'll do it. Then she'll be great at it, you know?
Right.
And a lot of other things. I've always been a philanthropist, but owning a title has sort of amplified my voice and given me huge platforms. Like, I was able to, as I already said, I don't know if I said this earlier, but I'm very passionate about the health of the public. I was able to bring together doctors from all spheres, your general practitioner, your optometrist, your dentist, had them all come together as volunteers to give free medical services to a remote village in Simongong in 2015. That is one of the things that I'm super proud of. And because of the title that I had in that year, that's how I was able to bring them all together so swiftly, and how that whole process was smooth, and a whole lot of other things. I went to driving school from, just because I was a title holder, that was easy for me. And then livelihood wise, at the moment, I would say it all goes back to the confidence to put myself out there and brand my business using my name, because I know that my name has a voice to it. Even without my face, my name has a voice to it. So just that in itself is it's amazing. That's what being a title holder has done for me. Literally given me that.
Wow, so much leverage all from your titles. I'm jealous. So there's a stigma around pageantry, and that's sort of why we're all intrigued to get a better perspective from it. There's a stigma around pageantry and it objectifies women. What do you all think about that?
Okay, so I personally think that women can be objectified whether they are on stage. No, not can be. Women are objectified whether they are on stage wearing a bikini or in their house wearing a huge winter gown, or outside wearing a pair of jeans or a short skirt. So if we were to say that, for example, if we were to say that pageantry should not exist because it objectifies women, that would be really unfair on the sport, because to me, I always refer to it as a sport. Also, I believe that it's not objectifying because there's so much that goes on behind the scenes. I also think that the world is a much better place because pageant queens are in it. We do good and we share kindness and we try as much as we can to give life to others and give where others are in need or help where we can, because it's just in us. what the pageant does for a woman is it just gives them the platform to do what they already are. So if you have met a woman who came from pageantry and you felt had a certain aura to them or a certain label or a certain behavior that one wanted to associate with a certain type of women or a certain stereotype, then that's because that's who they are. What beauty pageantry does is it just gives you a platform for you to be bigger at what you already are. Sorry, I got distracted. I'm reading one of the comments. So yeah, I don't think that beauty pageantry objectifies women. What I think is that beauty pageantry just gives women the boost they need to be as big as I believe women are.
Great. Okay, thanks for that. Asma, what's your take on the same question? Like, we're here to discuss the stigma in pageantry, and unfortunately, we've noticed it objectifies women. What's your opinion about that?
It's such a question, I think, not
It
for
objectifies women. What's your opinion about that?
I think this question, for me, sorry for my answer, don't have to be a discussion, because woman can be whatever she wants, because God gifted her with a lot of abilities to be what she wants, wherever she wants, and really, how can I say it? I have, sorry for that. I'm very comfortable speaking French. Sorry for people who is votre vidéo a été mise en évidence. D'accord. Sorry for that. But as I was saying before, a woman can be whatever she wants. She really have this ability to do whatever she wants around this world. And because each woman was creating, having her own message to convey. So yeah, definitely, I think, yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Yeah, that's okay. We understand.
Sorry.
Over to you, Mudu. So there's this really unpleasant habit that women are objectified in pageantry. What would you say are your feelings about it, or what you really just want to express to people who have that sentiment?
I think there's two ways to that statement, right? I'm going to link it also with my profession. When I massage people, sometimes I have to get in a position where I massage people's groins, I massage people's glutes, because I have to treat certain muscles, right? Because I have to treat something. Now, there's some people who say to me, doesn't that make you uncomfortable? Or doesn't that mean now you're going to end up doing things with clients? Or doesn't that mean it's going to entice a client to want to do something with you? Now, I always say to people, if that person comes with the mindset that that's what they're going to do, then that's what's going to happen. If I approach treating a client with that mindset, then that's exactly what's going to happen. You know what I mean? So I think it's the same with that stigma. If you are thinking of young women, old, young, it doesn't matter, on that platform, in that sport, as Mojabin calls it, when you see people like that and your first thought is, oh my gosh, all they're doing is showing off their bodies, they're marketing themselves, they're calling for attention, all of those other things, that's what you see, because that's your mind, that's who you are. It shouldn't take away from the art and what they're actually doing. Now, I say it has two sides to it, because that mindset is what could affect the person on stage. And it's what I always say to the young ladies that I come across, that no one is going to believe in you if you don't believe in yourself. If you're going to let someone else's opinions of you and what you're doing affect you, it's because you're not in a position to understand and accept who you are and what you're doing first. So yes, stigmas will always be there, like MJ is saying. It doesn't matter whether they're in a pageant, whether they're doing ramp modeling, whether they're just doing photo shoots. You know, if your mind is not in the right space for it, you're going to see and believe in that side of the stigma and the objectifications. But if you've just said, this is who I am and this is what I'm doing, there's nothing wrong with it, I believe in myself, you're going to be just fine. You're going to walk straight past all that talk. And if
Mudu, you're muted.
For what it is, you're going to appreciate it for what it is, you're going to accept it. That's my opinion on it. You know, I think it's all in the head.
Yeah, I definitely believe that as well. And I really hope after today's conversation, people will start seeing it that way as well. One question that we definitely really were curious about is beauty pageants are about competing for one crown. Do you feel like the competition creates enemies among the contestants, or does it create a strong bond of sisterhood, so to say?
Can I go first with that one?
Yeah, you're here. Yeah, please.
I think it does both. Back to what I said about things being in the head. And also, I think Asma is the one who was talking about confidence, right? And MJ, I think they both touched on your God-given ability, your God-given confidence. If you go into a competition thinking that I'm better than so-and-so, or I want to see what she does, I want to see her fail, that's the person you are, and that's in your head. But if you go there with a good heart, knowing that, sorry, before I continue, that winning is different for everyone. Some people enter pageants to build their confidence and grow themselves. And to them, whatever the result at the end of the event, crown, sash or not, they come out with a win. So if you go there with your own objective, your own goal, and an open heart, you're definitely going to make lifelong friends. Because it's not going to matter to you whether Mojabeng won or Asma won. It's not going to matter, because you've gotten to know these people and you genuinely have a good heart enough to say, even if it's not me, I wish this person well. So if you go into something like that with like that cold heart where you say, if it's not me, then no one else, you're just pure evil. I'm sorry to put it like that, but you need, I think another thing is, like I always say, judges can read through people. We can see who's genuine and who's not. Last year for Miss Lesotho, when we were selecting our semi-finalists, one girl didn't make it because when we looked back at the videos of their semi-final interactions, they were all together. You could see how rude she was. One girl, as much as she didn't tick all the other boxes, she made it just because in their presentation, I remember she was stroking the other one. Her partner was very nervous, so much so that she was shaking. She literally patted the other girl, you know, like, it's okay, we've got this. But they were competing against each other. She could have easily just let her partner stumble. Do you know what I mean? So you could see that that girl had a very good heart, and that's who she is, regardless of what the outcome is. So yes, it does create enemies, because there are some people who are just very catty. They are not nice people. They've got very cold hearts. And I pray to God that somewhere, somehow, that changes for them. But then you have the genuine people that you meet who will always be smiling at you. In competition, you will see some girls that you're saying, oh my gosh, I think these shoes look better with your outfit. Oh gosh, you don't have earrings? I've got 3 pairs. Would you like to borrow them? There are people like that. And that's the take home for it. So yes, you do have both, but it's always better to come out with that lifelong sisterhood. You know, right now, I can tell you now, Mojabeng and Asma and myself, you could never put us in the same pageant and expect either one of us to win. I mean, we all have our different strengths, but I can guarantee you now that there's a reason why the 3 of us are here on this webinar. And I bet you, like, I'm willing to sell my soul that if you had us in a competition, regardless of who won, we'd still be able to communicate long after because of the personalities. Do you know what I mean? So it really just comes down to the heart.
Yeah.
I agree with Mo 100%. I'm just gonna share a short story. Building on to what Mo just said. So Asma and I, we met at Miss Africa. We met at Miss Africa and we were roommates. We had the time of our lives. Before we had the time of our lives. It was the most amazing time ever. We were like sisters. We fixed each other's makeup. We helped each other dress up. We had a really good time. We became friends, and we've been friends ever since. I still call her and cry my eyes out. And we're still really, really great friends. Just yesterday, I called her and I was crying, and she just knew the right things to say because that's just the person that she is. So what Mo is saying, 100%, that it's all about who you are. I said earlier that a pageant is just it's just a platform for you to show who you are, to amplify and build on who you already are, to amplify on who you are. I also think that the winning and losing spirit comes differently with the kind of person that you are and the kind of person that you aspire to be. Because some people come into a pageant thinking, I'm gonna have this title and now I'm gonna be better than everyone and everybody's gonna know me and so will have nothing on me. Once you think of it like that, you've already lost, because even after you win, that's the spirit that everybody's gonna feel when they are with you. That's the spirit you'll be sharing, and nobody wants a pompous person. Mo and I were speaking one time. Somebody had entered Miss Lesotho, and she didn't make it. She didn't make the cut, but really beautiful woman. She didn't make the cut, and I spoke to Mo about it. I asked her, why didn't she make it? And then she said, because the judges thought she was pompous. I mean, that's something that I personally knew, but for them, but I would know it because I've known this person for a long time. But for them to pick it up in just one meeting, I mean, I think for those interviews, you get like 5-10 minutes. For them to pick it up in that short space of time meant that what Mo is saying, that when you're on stage, the judges already, they can see who you are. They can see you even before you speak. Even if they haven't interacted with you before the pageant, if they meet you on that day, they see you. Somehow it's magic, really. Somehow we're able to see who you are from just walking there, from just smiling at us. We can pick up if you're a queen or if you're not. And don't get this mistaken. A queen is not just a pretty woman who has a beautiful smile, wearing a crown on their head, or who was given a title and has a crown on their head. A queen is a very empathetic person, a people's person, a lover of people, and a human being. You know, the epitome of a human being. That's what a queen is. So it does. Pageantry does, it can separate, it can drive a wedge between women, but also it can bring women together, and it can give you friends that last you a lifetime. I think 80% of my friends, and I have a lot of friends, and I have a lot of great friends, like all of my friends, I don't have friends that fall under good friends. I have great friends, great friendships. 80% of them I met at pageants, competing against them. Oh, by the way, Asma won. She was crowned Miss Africa at that competition. I placed 4th runner-up. That didn't even make a difference. That night, we went out and celebrated the fact that my friend had won.
Wow.
Yeah.
I guess that's exactly what needs to be conveyed to people who have the stigma. Asma, what do you think? You go to a pageant, and do you feel it's all you or nothing, or are you just there to have a good time and make lifelong friends, as Mudu and MJ have said?
For me, first of all, thank you so much, Mojade, for sharing our stories. I wanted to talk about a little bit about stories. For me, entering in a beauty pageant, first of all was for me discovering the world, discovering other people, discovering their culture, discovering their behavior, discovering their mindset, discovering the way they believe, they behave and the thinking. This is, I can say, one of the most important things who really push me to be in beauty pageant. Hello. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Asma, I can hear you. Continue.
Thank you. Thank you. So, yeah, definitely. I think as Mudulu said just a few minutes ago, we all have some, how I can say, we all have some objective to go through, like going to participate in Beauty Queen. For me personally, I every time say to myself, you are going to discover people, like knowing what they're fighting for, being friend with them have to be the one of the most important things for me. I know definitely I'm going to represent my country. So for my country, for all my countries, like bringing the crown home. But for me, bringing the crown home and letting people like seeing you negatively and not giving them like you're a human being. There is not necessary to wear crown, like they said. You don't have to be like beauty only physically, but beauty have to be from your heart, from in your sight. Definitely. I met MJ at Miss Africa continent. For the little bit story, we swore to each other, Asma, for the day, like the big day, promised me that you will be here for me. We promised each other we'll be here to help her to dress her evening gown, her hair, everything, her makeup, and we did it. And that was really the one of my biggest like success going to participate at Miss World, because we did it together until the end. Until the moment I was crowned, she was here for me. You are shaking our hands each together. So for me, I think people have to really understand that, yeah, it's true. Going to participate at beauty pageant, you have really to respect and honor your country. But at the end of this competition, you have really to ask yourself what this competition really brought you back. It's brought you like positively things. It's brought you siblings around the world. It's brought you like knowledge. Maybe you never have this chance to know if you never participate in this competition. Definitely, I think we have competition is here, but at the end of the journey, you have to have another sister, another siblings from another mom, another mom. That is what the most important things I think I can tell to people or young ladies who want to participate to Beauty Pageant. Not only to think for themselves, no, not be egoist, or not to be like selfish, or not like just to think, no, the crown belongs to me. If it is not me, I'm gonna not be good for other people. No, life is not like they're gonna be not like the end of the life. No, life have to continue, and you really have to prepare your mind like positively. And after this competition, to know that you was really good with every person, because at the end of the day, this is the most important things I think. Taking people like you used to take care of yourself. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for sharing your story and basically some of your journey with us, Asma. At this point, I want to move towards the future of pageantry and what it is you all individually do in your different scopes of work. And so we'll start with Mudilela first. In the beginning, you mentioned to us that you're in fitness and that also you're the director of Miss Lesotho. So we want to know if you feel like your line of work in fitness better equips you to be the director of Miss Lesotho, and can we expect that you're going to be instilling more of what you do towards the Miss Lesotho organization?
So, I struggle to answer that, not because it's a problem or anything, but because I'm a very visioned person, and I get very frustrated when the vision, the goals, the things that I see that I'd like to do don't always coincide with what's available in terms of resources being the people, the facilities, all sorts of things like that. So that's why it's going to be a bit tricky to answer this question, but I'm going to do it. Fitness wise, I believe fitness is not just physical, right? I'd like to look at it holistically. I'm not qualified to provide counseling and things like that, but touching on things like mental health is very important. So knowing what things contribute to a stable, a well-versed, a comfortable and happy person in the mind is good enough for me, like knowing and understanding what that means. So knowing and understanding all of that means incorporating what I do professionally. Not just saying, let's make the girls exercise so that they're fit physically, and then it also contributes, it helps with the endorphins, it helps with this, that, and the other. No, but ensuring that you can have the conversations to know and to make people understand the importance of all these things. My line of work is very tricky and touchy-feely because someone may get offended if you recommend or suggest that, hey, look at having this as a part of your lifestyle. Someone may think, why do you think I'm too fat? Do you think I'm too skinny? Do you think I'm too bulked? Or like it's the same with actually being a director, because sometimes you see someone who's got the qualities of a perfect ambassador, but you can't just walk up to someone and say, hey, I think you should enter Miss Lesotho because you look like you do well in the position. You know, ambassador, not just because we're saying we're sending them out of the country, but an ambassador for a cause. I believe that being a beauty queen, a pageant title holder is more than just being yourself. And it's not just about going abroad or wherever to represent the country, but you represent something greater than yourself. That's why you're taking on that position. So I try and find ways to have the two merge in a way that isn't offensive. If that makes sense, because you don't want to go around saying to people, hey, let's exercise or let's eat healthy, let's do this, because not everyone interprets it the same. So there are times where you have to find ways of softening what you say, and I try my best to sugarcoat things where I think it's necessary, but I also try not sugarcoat things because I feel some people are so used to receiving half-baked stuff that are very soft that they cushion themselves for things and they don't actually prepare themselves for reality. You know, with conversations that I've had in the past, Lesotho didn't go to Miss World this past year. And it's not something that I felt bad about. I felt for Lesotho to go there and stand strong and tall, Lesotho the country, not just an individual. We as a country need to understand what we're doing in sending someone there first, right? So in merging and bridging all these things, it's important for the girls that go through, or the young ladies that go through Miss Lesotho, to understand mentally, physically, spiritually, and everything, how well their lives are. You know, so I'll just say their overall wellness has to be in a great space. So looking at that from my profession and then saying I'm in this position, I can find ways to interlink that such that when I get people in the right position, you know, like MJ said, she's not a doctor herself, but with her being in the public health space, she knows who to call. Same thing with me. If I see that the ladies are struggling with something, it's easier for me to call on certain people and say, let's work on this first, so that you're stronger as an ambassador, you're stronger as a representative, you're stronger as a woman, you're stronger as an individual before you can do all these other things. So I think, and I'd like to hope and believe that I can definitely use my profession to grow my position such that when a time comes for me to step down, the next person has very size 4, 5 shoes to fill, but at the same time they're very big. With that said, we're actually looking at launching I don't know if the correct word is series, but we want to launch through the Miss Lesotho platform means of exercise to promote and uplift mental health. Obviously, all of this will be shared at a later stage, but it's one of the things that we're looking into, not just for the participants, but for the people that support us. Because with me taking on Miss Lesotho, I believe it's not just for the X amount of young ladies that go through the journey, but everyone else that is touched and affected and inspired by Miss Lesotho as a whole. So yeah, thank you.
Very detailed response. So Asma, we realize that you hold a master's in economic policy. And how do you feel that has emancipated you as a woman in the pageant industry in trying to make a difference?
Thank you for the question. I think my mom, when I was younger, my mom used to tell me, tell me that every time. It's true, you are beautiful physically and everything, but don't only be beautiful like physically. You have to be beautiful also in your mind, like having knowledge in your mind. And knowing that maybe after going to the school, be educated and something like this, you can also be participating in beauty pageant, something like this. But these have to, being educated have to help you to know how to behavior when you want to be a beauty queen and something like this. But at the end of the journey, you have to have, how can I say it? You have to have some ability and some capacity to work and help like your country back, being some personality like in economics, helping our finances and helping people in a small company or big company, something like this. But earlier, as I was, as I saying, I realized that for me, like participating in a beauty pageant is important. But what is more important to me is like giving affirmation as a ladies and giving this good example to ladies. You can be beauty pageant, but also you can be like a chief of a company. You can be a chief accounting. You can be director of finance in some company, or even though in your country. This is really good, important. I think a lot of things are really appreciated between both of these things is having this change to challenge. Sometimes, sometimes some people used to ask me that, Asma, how are you managed to be accounting in a big company and also to work as a beauty queen? I said, yeah, I do, because I prepare myself, I have a confidence, and I think that we don't have to have limit like to do what you really want or what you really passionate about it. Yeah, you can do what you're really passionate about it, like being a beauty queen. But on another side, I can really be at the face in some of company in my country. Yeah. Thank you for the question.
Okay, thank you for your response, Asma. And over to MJ. We've just really covered how passionate you are about public health, and to no surprise, you have a master's in public health. So really, of all the things you haven't said so far, what do you feel like you use your public health qualification to do the good and for the beneficial purposes for everybody else in the society and the community at large?
I co-founded a nonprofit organization. We're about youth empowerment using entrepreneurship. We host environmental education seminars, and we lend a helping hand wherever it's needed, even if it's not in the environmental space, in the health space, or in education. But my qualification, what it does for me, the biggest thing that it does for me right now is that it inspires younger mujabings, younger women who think that life should be lived in this kind of way. There's I don't know, there's a lot of things that society taught us or channeled us to think that a woman should be this way, women should live their life this way. You know, there's certain things that you can be, but you can't be this. You can be this, but you can't be that. You can be in academia, but then you can't be in modeling. That's what society taught us. And I defy that every single day of my life. You can be, where I come from, you cannot be a married woman and live the kind of lifestyle that I live. You cannot be a married woman and still have goals. So even in my life plans, I still say I will get that PhD. I should get that PhD because I need to teach my younger sister that she can be anything that she wants to be. That you can address me as Dr. Senegal Ndebele, which will be happening soon. You can address me as Dr. Senegal Ndebele, but you can also call me the face of Lesotho. That's a rare combination. And actually this is something I wanted to say as Asma and Mo were talking, that one of the stigmas is that title holders or beauty pageant women are dumb, or they are undereducated, or in general they're dumb. That's the stigma, and they're not. And I like how the pageant industry is moving right now, because some of the biggest title holders, the major title holders, are very well educated. If you look at Miss South Africa, sorry, I would refer to South Africa because I'm in South Africa right now. If you look at Miss South Africa, last year's Miss South Africa, last year's Miss South Africa had a doctor. The trio had a doctor there was a doctor in the trio. This year there's a doctor in the trio. Before that, there's actually been Miss South Africas who are doctors. Something that one would think is close to impossible, that how are you a doctor, and then how did you even think of beauty pageants when you do such an important job? Well, beauty pageantry is also a very important job, because that's where all of these people, all of these beautiful and life-changing careers come together. So to answer your question, I am a great believer in education, and I love that. What I always say when I speak is that education will liberate you from so many things. You can be an entrepreneur and be a housewife just because you're educated. Because when you're educated, regardless of the space of education you're from, it allows you to be anything else that you can be. Because just the mere fact that you're educated means your mind is open enough, and you're open-minded enough to want to learn other things and to excel in other things. That's why I'm a graduate in health, and I am working in I'm working in another sphere, and I am excelling in another one, and I'm actually learning towards another one at the moment.
So yeah, great. Okay, we're approaching the end of our webinar, but we just would want to know from all of you, what advice would you give to your younger selves, or really just any young woman who wants to join the beauty pageant industry? And what's next for you individually in pageantry? MJ, obviously will go first because you've already taken the stand.
Okay, so I've been called to be a judge for a few pageants here in South Africa, but I thought to myself, and I've actually decided that I will be getting back on the horse. I'm gonna get back to competing in the Mrs. section, obviously, because I'm married now, I cannot do the Miss section. And I have written a book, which I will be publishing really soon. And now that I've said this online, that means I really should step on it. Thank you for that question.
All right, Mudu, what basically would you say to younger Mudulela, or any other girl really who wants to think, hey, after listening to this, I really want to give it a shot? And then what's next for you in pageantry?
So MJ answered that question like she was responding to a judge. Thank you for that question. Like, okay.
Just thanking her because I got to set a goal for myself in front of everyone. But yeah, I get what you mean.
It's like she was responding to an interview section at a pageant, like blah blah blah. Thank you for the question, judges. Okay. For me, I think this is goes without saying for a lot of us. There are things that happen while we're growing up that we don't realize until we're much older. There's this movie I used to watch. I think it's a Cinderella story or something. There's this quote where whatever it is on the wall falls, and then there's a quote that says, "Don't let the fear of striking out stop you from playing the game." And that's the one thing I would say to a younger me and anyone else watching. A lot of us stop ourselves from reaching our potential and even going beyond that because we're afraid, either afraid of what people are going to say or afraid of challenging ourselves beyond our comfort zones. It's just fear more than anything. So this is a quote I saw many, many years ago, but the older I got and the more I had and set goals for myself, the more I realized that only you can achieve your goals. So if you're afraid, who's going to do that for you? You know, that's honestly the one thing I remind myself every now and then. I actually challenged myself to do a 21 kilometers for the first time in 2020. It was just post lockdown. I was in Saudi Arabia. I had nothing better to do besides wake up, go to work, and I needed something to motivate me. And I actually got myself a medal. You know, I got it made just for me. It wasn't an official race, but I set myself that goal. And on the medal, it literally says, only you can achieve your goals. So that's the one thing that I'd say to the younger self. Don't let the fear of striking out stop you from playing the game, whatever the game is, life, goals, school, whatever it is. Don't let fear stop you from it. And remember that if it's something you really want, only you can achieve it for yourself. That's that regarding that. In terms of way forward for me and what's next, it's funny MJ says she's going into the Mrs. section. I've just been saying, gosh, I need to get married soon because I really want to enter Mrs. something, you know, like Mrs. World or whatever. But then at the same time, I also think I want to in my head, but the truth is, and this is something that I don't think either of us actually said, to compete on stage requires a lot mentally. And life happens so much that I honestly, as much as I may want to, I'm not mentally prepared. Like I don't have the energy right now for that, but I know it's something that I'd like to do, to get back on stage eventually. But regarding pageants, we've got Miss Lesotho coming up in a few months. It's already giving me palpitations. It's already starting to give me a headache. But there's honestly that this weekend, I'm one of the judges at the Face of Lesotho pageant, which is going to be interesting because the last time I attended Face of Lesotho was when MJ was crowned, actually. And I made a very big blunder of announcing first princess and second. And then I had to switch. I'm like, oh, whoops. I pulled a Steve Harvey that day. But basically for me in pageants, that's it for now. You know, there's Miss Lesotho coming up. I've got to focus on that and make sure that I improve it, you know, and I'd like it to get to a place where it's more quality than quantity. And then there's this weekend where I'll be judging at Face of Lesotho.
Thanks so much for that, Modu. We often don't ever consider that you guys have mental health to consider before you compete. And we look forward to the upcoming months of Miss Lesotho. So MJ, I see your hand. We will address it at the end. Asma, can you just wrap up for us and tell us what it is you would tell young women watching and those who want to get into pageantry, and what's next for you?
Definitely, for sure. I will advise to young girls who want to really participate to beauty pageant to be themselves. I insist, to be themselves, to not compare themselves to other people, and to really take care of her mental health. This is the three things I'm going to really advise them, and to always keep having a goal and follow the line to really realize their goal if they want to be a beauty pageant. For the second question, I think for me, I'm I'm trying to really keep myself to concentrate to my my farmer in India. and really to start to have some PG day in economics also, because this is really something I want like to consecrate now myself, because I really spent these 5 past years to participate in many competition. I think this is the time for me now to consecrate some time for me to develop my to develop myself, to develop my projects. And on the other side, I'm working with some queens in my country here to have some organization like to help young girls in my country, if they want or if they really dream to be a Miss Guinea, the line they have to follow, like to be their coach, if I can say something like that. For in the future in Beauty Pageant, I think we will create our organization who's gonna help young girl in my country, why not around Africa, to really prepare themselves properly before they participate in Beauty Pageant. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Asma. MJ, do you want to tell us why your hand is up, and then we can wrap up?
Okay, 2 things. I was going to say to Mo that she didn't only pull Steve Harvey that day. She was the host, and I had just been crowned Miss National University of Lesotho like 3 weeks back, and she put so much pressure on me. I never forget it. She put so much pressure on me. She was like, she has to win, because she's Miss now. She has to win. She put so much pressure on me, my God. But I was gonna say also that second thing is I missed the first part of your question, and really brief. If I were to advise a younger me, it would be to tell myself that I was already born with everything that I need to succeed, and I don't have to look elsewhere. It's just all in here. Oh yeah, and so Mo also said about that she is she wants to enter pageants, but she's also thinking that she's not in the right mental space. Look at me, 4 years into marriage, only now I'm considering getting back into pageantry, because now I'm in the mental, I have my mental state is in a point where I can enter a pageant. So please be patient with yourself. It's all normal.
All right, thank you so much, MJ. But above all, thank you so much, all 3 of you. It has been such a pleasure talking to you, getting to know your different pageant stories, and to just see that the sisterhood, it's not all about the crown in the end, as people think, watching from the outside. For our viewers, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for tuning in as we discovered that pageantry is not about stigma, but there's more to it. And it really comes down to who you are. We found out it's also a saving grace, and we found out in Guinea, you're expected to be perfect, but Asma is clearly defying the odds of that. So if you're tuning in for the first time, we have our webinars every month, and you can follow us on our social media pages, that is Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, as well as on Vimeo. We have TikTok apparently as well. Please do tune in every other time. And of course, the ladies themselves, their names are Modaving Senegal Debele. She's based in South Africa. You can find her on social media. Asma is currently based in Guinea, and Mudu's based, well, she's a citizen of the world, but she's here back in the city. So please do follow them as well. And we are Rise International. Thank you so much, and have a Rise-filled day. Bye, ladies.
Bye-bye.
Bye.